Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. This is the end of our week with this deck already. Day 7 of the Oracle of the 7 Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. So I'm excited to see what the reading has in store for us today, since 7 has been so important with this deck. And Colette talks about how 7 is a mystical number in multiple cultures. We've seen it for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. There's 7 days in a week. There's 7 rainbow colors in the spectrum as we see it. There are 7 main chakras in our body, though there are many more, but how 7 is so mystical and also lucky. And she's working with the energies of earth, water, fire, love, sound, light, and thought with this deck. And this isn't a new deck for me. A new old deck. I've had it for a while and just never opened it up. I never felt like it was the right time. And I was guided that this is the right time to open this deck. Last week's deck, the Mystical Shaman Oracle, was also a brand new deck for me that I've had sitting and waiting. And I guess waiting for this moment. That's all I can think. That it must have been waiting for this time so I could discover this deck with these readings along with you guys. So I'm going to continue doing my 2-card reading where I look at 2 things. I look at the energy of the day, which is basically the force that's coming at us from the universe for the day. And then I look at the focus, which is our intention, effort, or response that we put into the energy. Now, I do believe that liminal spaces are kind of a mystical transition space where we're open to learning, receiving new information, being more aware of the messages around us. And I think oracle cards are a beautiful divine way for that message to come to us. In a pretty simple way, you know, which is a blessing. Colette says in this book about the word oracle comes from the Latin word orare, which means to speak or to impart wisdom. And that is what I think these decks do. And this deck in particular this week has just been lovely. So I'm very excited to see what this reading has in store for us. So, energy. All right. And then focus. Now, with every reading, I invite in my guides and guardians. I invite in the guides and guardians of the collective. I invite in the guides and guardians of anyone who will watch this video, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next year. I also open a circle of light and love and protection for these readings. And so I am protected as a channel bringing you these messages, and you are protected when you receive these messages. I just want to say every now and then that I try to be very careful about the energy that I both bring into myself, but also that I send out for the collective to look at. So I'll continue to read these cards intuitively, and then I will look at the guidebook because Colette has just gorgeous insight. I mean, she is so gifted, and I've never found one of her decks that I didn't just think was stunningly beautiful. So let's look at our energy for the day. We have Spirit of Gratitude. This is a beautiful, beautiful card. It looks like a tea rose. It's pink, which is gorgeous, above a teacup. But the interesting thing here is these are ears. At first I thought it was a handle, but these are ears. So the Spirit of Gratitude is the cup that is us. So gratitude is an energy that's coming at us today, or the spirit of gratitude anyways. Like, I'm sorry, that light is glaring kind of funny on that card. I apologize. Every day has been a little bit of a learning session with these. Well, I guess it just is what it is. I apologize. Every day I'm working with these lights, trying to get things better. So the Spirit of Gratitude card. So I just feel like, I don't know if the energy of gratitude is coming at us, or us being aware that we should have gratitude for so many things in our lives. Even simple things, you know, things that we kind of take for granted, you know, like that the plumbing turns on in the morning, or the electricity works. I mean, last week it was very cold where I live. We had wind chills in the 60s below zero, and our power was out for a couple hours. And though my house stayed warm, I didn't have a furnace fan, you know, but I realized that I was grateful that my house stayed as warm as it did. Not to be ungrateful that the power was out for several hours when it was so bitter cold and how frightening that was, but just grateful that my house kept me warm and safe and protected from the elements. And I was grateful for that. And sometimes I think that's what we need to do. We don't need to grumble about the power being out. I mean, that affected thousands of people, but to still be grateful that we were safe through that all, that we were okay. And so sometimes I think we need to look at gratitude like that. And we need to be grateful not just for those things, but to people around us, you know, our friends, our neighbors, our family. Like sometimes those are the people that we kind of take for granted because they're just there all the time. But I think we need to express the spirit of gratitude to them as well. Now, let me read from this card here. And really quickly, this is a thought card. So I want to read what she says about thought. She says spirituality, ego transcendence, liberation, God consciousness, understanding, and wisdom. So the spirit of gratitude, the prospering of power of prayer, communion with the divine, expressing deep gratitude as you move through the world, knowing that your prayers will be answered exactly as they are meant to be. In prayer, we connect directly to our higher power. It is a way for us to be in communion with the divine, a reminder that our lives are sacred, that our lives are a sacred conversation we are continuously engaged in. Prayer lets us know that we are not alone. A power greater than us acts upon our behalf and is activated through us, suffusing our hearts and minds with a faith that is life-affirming, loving, and compassionate. When we pray, we acknowledge that we are only part of the equation of life, that the spiritual aspect is always in operation. We engage in humility, knowing we are in a co-creative partnership and have so much to be grateful for. I can assure you that the night the power was out for several hours when it was 60 degrees below zero, wind chills outside, I prayed. And I believe those prayers were listened to. I truly believe that. So let's look at the energy or the focus that we're going to put into this energy of gratitude that we have today. Smoke and mirrors. Oh, now that's interesting, isn't it? Because smoke and mirrors kind of seem like a card of illusion. This is a beautiful card. Look at that. So this is a gorgeous ornate mirror. There's swirls behind it and smoke, almost like incense coming out of it. We have stars behind it. We have butterflies and the image of a feminine face up here. This is beautiful. But smoke and mirrors can mean illusion to me. And so I find that interesting because I think maybe this is telling us that we can't just say that we're grateful. We have to really mean it. And we can say all the right things and we can do the right things, but if we don't mean them from deep, deep in our soul, then it's just an illusion. You know, I can assure you that I was incredibly grateful that my house kept me warm that night. Truly, truly warm. And truly grateful. And I was so grateful when the power came back on. And I was so grateful for the linemen who had to work on that power outage out in the bitter, dangerous, life-threatening cold. And so, but sometimes we say we're grateful and maybe we're not as grateful as we mean, or we're like, yeah, I'm so grateful for that. But do we really mean it? Are we expressing it in the appropriate way? So I think this is just a message for us. We'll see what the book says, but a message for us that we really need to mean the message that we're sending out. Otherwise, it's just an illusion. Okay, smoke and mirrors. So let's see, 42. So this is in the light category, which is intuition, vision, imagination, prescience, knowing, perception, and mental states. So smoke and mirrors. It says seeing through the lens of past conditioning, the inability to recognize the truth of what is being offered, healing from misguided perceptions, moving beyond the illusion of separation, being accountable for your biases and the way you view the world. We're actually built to view the world inaccurately. Well, that's interesting. Our five senses tell us we are separate from one another. We're conditioned to see time as linear. This creates a consciousness of delineation, separation, and finality. We have an innate fear that what we see is all there is. Although we know deep down there is more, we are suspicious of it. Our fear of death results from this kind of perception. The entire world is a construct of smoke and mirrors, and our job is to discover the truth that lies behind this illusion. Discoveries at the frontiers of science align with what the ancients have known. On an atomic level, we are blinking lights in empty space. Consciousness is fundamental. Time can be bent. We are eternal. Sorry. So ask yourself if what you see is really what you are looking for. Really interesting. So this is about our perception. I believe maybe our perception is, we need to look at the perception of the gratitude energy that's coming at us. Like, are we truly grateful? Like I said, do we really mean it? Are we grateful for the people around us? Or how do we accept the gratitude that's delivered towards us? The smoke and mirrors kind of indicates like the scales falling away from our eyes and helping us see better. So I hope that that we see clearer, that we're aware of the spirit of gratitude around us. I'm going to have to ponder this reading. It's really interesting. I'm going to have to rewatch it and rethink about these cards and just kind of focus on this energy. You know, I would love to hear any insights you guys have on these cards. I'd be so grateful for any comments that you could send my way. This is the last day that we're working with this deck, so I would love to hear what you felt about this deck. This was the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reid. We've just reached our 7th day, so I'm really curious to hear what you think about the deck, how you felt about the deck, your experiences with the deck if you've worked it before. I hope you found the reading helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. Please like, subscribe, and share. Those things will help my channel grow so I can help bring these messages to other people. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me. My name is Stacy.